What's going on, guys? BladeZilla here, and today we've got another F3 variant for you. This is the F3 in LMAX in Purple Alutex, and I did a video just the other day on the black Alutex version of this, which is very, very, very dark purple, and figured I would actually grab the purple one because for some reason this one slipped through the cracks and was unable to actually get a video up on the knife. So it'll be probably not too long of a video today, as I've got now, geez, let me just think about this. Aquamarine, emerald, orange, brown, black. Is there another color I'm missing? There may be another one, and now purple. So I've got videos of a number of these F3s. They all follow kind of the same formula, and there should be no surprise. I love this knife, and this loud colored purple really gives me a kind of an 80s, 90s vibe that just screams kind of the younger generation of knife collectors. So really cool color, really cool configuration, and I'm really excited to talk about this one today, as I just simply haven't had one available to do a quick video on because they keep going out the door. Anyway, speaking of going out the door, BladeZilla.ca, that's my website. I'm in Calgary. Lots of cool stuff on here. Just got some really cool pairs of Koenigs. Still have some of those 111 special editions, prototype, Protex, some Microtex, geez, CKFs, all kinds of good stuff coming down the pipe. So check it out, BladeZilla.ca in Canada. Yes, we ship to the US. If that is a common question, you just convert the currency on your credit card. I'm getting too excited. I've had about 4 cups of coffee today, and I'm feeling pretty good. So I kind of just got to slow my row a little bit here. All right, on to the specs of the F3 Purple Alutex. So let's kind of get into this, and maybe you guys can enjoy a cup of coffee while I embarrass myself for the next couple minutes with inaccurate measurements. Overall length, we are coming in at 8 3/4 inches. Blade length, just under 4 inches, probably 3 7/8, maybe a little, probably a little over 4 inches to the center of the choil, but sharpened, we're definitely less than 4 inches, which is a key number for a lot of places. Handle length, 4 3/4, 4 7/8, somewhere in there. It's a good size. The liner lock knives just tend to be a little chunkier, a little chubbier in the handle because you have obviously that titanium frame inside the handles, so it just tends to be a little thicker than, say, an F95, but roughly, if you like an F95 size-wise, you're not going to mind one of these. Let's look at some weight on this as well. Let's grab my digital scale, and I can't remember, I just filmed a video on this literally a week ago, and I thought it was like, what, 4.5 ounces or something. I should just trust my gut and just, what does it weigh? 4.2, and I'm going to be wrong. I thought it was like mid-4s. Yeah, 4.8. There you go. 4.8, 4.7. Let's hear it one more time. 4.8, which is not bad. It's really not bad. Like I said, it's a thick knife, so it's got some weight to it, and that's totally fine. Size-wise, it's not going to bother anyone, especially just being a Shiro. It tends to handle that blade into the handle quite nicely. So where do we go from here? Well, let's do some size comparisons down the line while my cell phone apparently is pinging. Who knows what that's about. Let's go. What do we want to do first here? Do neon? Let's do neon. There's your neon. Shiro's baby frame lock. This one is a Shirogorov Neon Light, L-I-T-E, which is kind of their entry-level neon without a backspacer. I've done a video on this. Real cool knife. This is my personal carry, actually. Multi-row bearings, no backspacer, standoff, and Chromax steel. Excellent knife, and definitely underrated. I had a bunch of these in at one point, and they all went out the door. And just, if you know me, I like titanium. I like plain and simple tie, and that's a great carry. It's like a titanium flipper bug out, basically, size-wise. We can go into the F95. This particular one is a Hattie half tie variant, which is their frame lock with a carbon front scale. Sorry about that, I just had the doorbell ring. So anyway, this is a half tie, so Hattie, which is carbon scaled F95, 95mm blade. Very similar size-wise as the F3, very similar grind. Just a gorgeous knife. This one is from CCKS 2021, and the main draw on this gorgeous black carbon is it's got a little bit of gold in it, but it's got a copper backspacer. So pretty cool. We do a Quantum. This one is an eKnives Quantum. Direct competitor to BladeZilla, which I don't know why I'm advertising for them, but there you go. Super cool knife. Actually, the reason I got that one originally was because it was a multi-row bearing knife version of my Monkey Edge Quantum, which I show in a lot of videos. But the Monkey Edge Quantum, this particular one is single row bearing, SRB, which is a standard bearing kind of for Shirogorov, but this particular Monkey Edge one was highly milled out on the inside, and I thought that was really cool. And then this one also had some really extensive milling, but was on multi-row bearings. So pretty cool knife, other than probably shouldn't be advertising it, all jokes aside. The Quantium, which is a G10 variant on the Quantum, there it is. It's kind of their entry level. Actually, it has multi-row bearings too, which is super cool. For scale, we could do the Astrum, which a lot of people have been really digging lately. I'm kind of wondering if they're going to do a lower entry price point on an Astrum at some point here. By doing, I don't know what they would do to kind of bring that price down, but really great size-wise knife. It's one of, if not my favorite Shirogorov, other than the classic F95 and the Loxa. And really, really dig this Astrum knife. It was my knife of the year last year, and I did a whole half-hour or 45-minute video talking about why it's the knife of the year in 2024. Go check that out if you haven't. It's a great knife, and this is my personal M390 Astrum production knife, which is awesome. If we want to get into some of the heaters, we can grab this bad boy. Also did a video on this recently. This is the Shirogorov Strip, or Fat Strip. Oh, can we just do that one more time? Just listen to that sound. Just listen to it. Oh, God. So Fat Strip, which, funny enough, is very similar width-wise in the handle as this F3. It's a big chonky beast, big thick pieces of titanium, big 5mm blade on there. Just a beautiful grind, compound grind, gorgeous knife. One of, if not another one of my favorites that's on the market right now. Hotcakes. They sound like hotcakes. And then we've got the Loxa, and this is just a cool knife. First integral Shirogorov ever made. And not sure if they will make more, but I'm sure they've learned a lot from the project. Full-size knife, Scott Cook Loxa, Russian Loxa. Love it. I did another video on this knife, this exact one as well. And go check that out. Really, really cool. Lots going on, and man, killer knives, these ones. Okay, so that is it. We could do a couple more. I don't know how much time we have today, but there's your bio as well. That's your Sinkovich Bio Special Edition, or collaboration piece. This is a Bio Dark. They make a Bio Light, which is also really, really cool. Has more of a kind of blue color to the pivot, and then a raw dog tie. But the main thing here is it looks kind of like a spine, which just looks so cool. The biometry of that spine, the ribs and whatnot. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up if it wants to focus, or just hate me. There we go. Really cool profile. See the spine that kind of pops out? And then the RJ Martin Russian Overkill for size as well. You're kind of seeing my stylistic cues here with the regular titanium. That's what I do. I love tie. I just love basic tie. It doesn't have to be super fancy. Some Zerka ties are cool and stuff, but full dress sometimes is a little too much for me. But I like little accents, little lanos, little tie. That's my style. And then we can get into some other brands. If we want to do the Umnumzon, there it is. That's an S45 Umnumzon S45 VN. on. Really cool. I'd like to get a glass blasted MagnaCut one at some point here, but maybe we'll blade swap it and get that done. We'll see. Great knife size. And then if we want to do the small guy, where is my little baby Sebenza? The wee little gaffer who's just growing up and getting a taste of the real world. There's your small Sebenza drop point. S45V in with, I think that's micarta inlays or something. Pretty cool knife. So there's kind of a little rundown of a couple of the sizes for those who are curious. Really good size knife. It's really well done. Okay, on to the tech specs. So I talked about the overall size of the knife and the profile, and that it's sub 4-inch blade, sub 9-inch overall length, sub 5-inch handle. Really good balance on it as well. There it is right behind the pivot. It's perfectly balanced. It feels if you've held like a really nice fitting like pistol. That's how this guy feels in your hand. It just, every little angle just wraps into your hand. Lots of grip on it as well. That rounded pocket clip, gorgeous milling, and a lot of people don't realize this. So that's all micro milled, but so is the other side of the clip on this side. It's another area that if you look under high magnification, you see all this gorgeous milling lines on the clip, and it's often forgotten, but it looks really, really good. The clip isn't pushed down on one side either. It's kind of, and I'm gonna put that away, I'm gonna cut myself. It's actually kind of riding high up here. And I don't know if we can see that, but it's off to one side on the clip. So it's just really functional as well. We've got both a titanium back spacer, which doesn't have the gear pattern that you would typically expect. But remember, this is an entry-level knife for Shiro, which is crazy at this price point. So non-geared back spacer, but it is milled and beveled on both sides to fit a lanyard, if you did decide and want to. Really cool. But it also has titanium pivot collars, which is kind of unusual on their entry-level knives. They haven't really done this on a lot of them. And hey, I'm not complaining. I think it's a really cool feature, and it just matches everything overall really nicely. Zero issues. Looks sharp. They typically reserve that for kind of their high-end production stuff, which is cool. You'll see that we've got two different size little baby Shirogorov screws. Not baby, but this one is. But we got two sizes here. Get the tool. If you're not, you can use a penny or a credit card, but the tool, this is a custom division tool. It's got all of them inside it. Really fidgety. And it has the reverse bit, which is found on a lot of the special editions or custom division knives. If you do want to go down that road and you're going to buy a tool, I would just try to track down one of these off the hop instead of spending, they're not cheap, $400 or $500 American on a tool. Get the right one with the right bits. But you know, they do make pen tools and a couple other things that you can get away with. But you could also use a penny, right? So on these knives, you could use one. You're going to mar things up. It's not going to look pretty, but you know, this to me is a great user. It's a knife not everyone's going to have, especially in purple. Alutex just catches the light so nicely that I don't know how you don't take this outside and carry it around. It's just so bright and poppy and just so well done. If we look at the pivot as well, above it there, the flipper tab, it's forward of center, so it really hammers out really smooth and with a lot of authority. I find the F3s have some of the best action on the multi-row bearings, both in action out and action down out of the box, just because there's not a ton of pressure on that lock bar. So it just tends to be really, really smooth. In my opinion, they don't require a ton of break-in. So if you like Shirogorov action, like it doesn't really get much better than that out of the box. And that'll just get better with time. The blade is Elmax, as I think I mentioned earlier, which is a super, you know, it's a brand name steel on a production knife or an entry-level knife. So I really dig that kind of stuff, that they're doing that. And Elmax, it's great steel for me. I've got no problems with it. Both Vanex and Elmax, love them. Love, love, love them. Who's this knife for? Well, if you haven't bought a Shirogorov ever, or you haven't experienced Alutex, I can't see how a knife like this isn't on your list. And it doesn't have to be the purple variant. It could be the brown, the orange, one of the two blue greens, the black. They're all very, very, very well done. You know, if you're trying to experience Shirogorov, seeing what MRBS is all about, Shirogorov floaty action, I highly recommend one of these new F3s. Other than if they're a little thick. So sometimes some people see them and they go, well, you know, they're a little too thick for me. Well, then maybe try an Astrum, maybe try an F95, maybe try Quantum. They are a little bit thinner in hand. And if I can grab that Monkey Edge Quantum just to show you the thickness difference, it's not a lot, but it's enough that you do notice it. So hopefully you can kind of see that. Hopefully my hands aren't blocking it too much. It is a little bit thicker in hand, but it's not a deal breaker. Okay? Just keep that in mind. And then the bonus is that some other F3s that they've done some G10s, which are beautiful, really sharp G10s, great milling on them. They did some micartas, which I could not get enough of. That micarta F3 was done really, really cool. But they all had G10 pivot collars and G10 backspacers for the same price point, within 20-30 bucks kind of thing. And that's when these guys came out maybe a couple months back, or a month back, 2 months, and I was kind of actually second doubting or second questioning my price point on this, going like, wait a sec, why does this have a titanium backspacer and titanium pivot collars and Alutex scales versus G10 or micarta? It's just my perception of everything was like higher, you know, better pivot collar, better scales, better backspacer, or backspacer. And I was like, how's it only like 20-30 bucks more? That doesn't even make sense. So I'm still under the impression that these probably weren't priced correctly right out of the gate, because just the features on it were better. Personally, but maybe that'll change over time, so get them while you can. If we go up a price tier from this, I think these are around 800 bucks US. You jump into the F3 NS, the new style, and that's where you get M390, that's where you get full carbon instead of Alutex, but it's $300 more, right? And arguably, are you getting $300 more? Sure, there might be a little more skeletonization, but it's not as big of a jump as you'd think. I also wanted to show you that they are all milled out on the inside of these, I believe, too. Let's double check. I think just one side should be. Oh, both sides are. Wow. Look at the inside of this camera. I gotta focus. Sorry, guys. Both sides of the scales on the inside of this, it's all milled. Lots of weight reduction on the inside of this. No detail on the bottom of the titanium backspacer, but you'll look inside this thing and you'll see like big pockets of material taken out all over the place. And when you do take these apart, it's such a beautiful and fun and rewarding experience to enjoy this knife, because it's just so detailed on the inside. Whereas you open up a Chris Reeve and it's kind of just like, you know, it's nice, but it's not this nice. It really isn't. So I love that stuff. And I love flippers. And Shirogorovs. And custom divisions. And all of them. All the knives. More knives, please. You know, drawbacks on this design. Well, I've mentioned this in a number of other F3 videos of this same design. I felt like the scales kind of popping off the side of the knife here, wrapping those lanyard holes. See how they stick out from there? That would give me cause for concern a little bit. If you drop it on there, I don't know how durable Alutex is compared to, say, G10. That might be something I'd bring up. I've read online that I haven't seen anybody experience that issue. But just from you know, hey, it is a material that is sticking out on one side. In theory, I guess you could have something there. Worst case, you buy another scale. But also, that backspacer sticks out from the frame. Keep that in mind. If you do drop it, it is hitting metal before it hits the Alutex. So, food for thought. It's really not a big deal, but all the way around, the frame tends to stick out more than the Alutex, so I can't see it being a problem. But people will carry this for 5 years and then drop it and say, oh, I broke that. You know, how dare they? But just be aware, it's a thing. Perfectly centered, all of them that I've had as well, all checked, perfectly centered. So it's a great design. The other thing too is on the F3NS, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe that clip is attached internally, whereas this is external, which is fine. But some purists might say, oh, there's a screw on the outside. Oh, I don't want it, or I don't like it, or whatever. To me, it's whatever, especially if you're a lefty and you just want to get rid of that clip in the first place. You know, not a big deal. And I don't think it's drilled, and yeah, you couldn't attach it internally if you wanted to anyway. So there you go. Really cool colorway. The finishing work on it as well as, you're not going to see it because I've got a single point of light right now, but all the way around it and all the edge work, it's beautiful. And it's definitely worth the price of admission as you kind of get to know your knife over time. Highly recommend checking one out, or just asking a friend to check theirs out, because Alutex is just such a special material that captures all the light, much kind of like Carbo Tie does. It just bounces at all kinds of different angles as you move the knife around. So highly suggest it from that perspective. You know, is purple for you? It may not be. Then check out the black. It's more of a subtle kind of dark color. Oh, and I didn't even notice this the first time around. They've actually done the F3NS milling up here on the Alutex. It's hard to see, but there is a line up here. It's very subtle. They always had that. Same with down here. They would put a little beveled line, which is here still. You can feel that. It's not rough. You get the same texturing, but it's not rough down here. That's exactly a crossover from the F3. Cool. One other thing, MRBS is written on the frame. I thought it was inside here. Can we see it? Yeah, there it is. MRBS, multi-row bearing system. On the last knife, I think I can't remember where it was, but I had to find that. So MRBS is stamped on the inside. Just food for thought. Who else, or what else is there? For reference, I'm a extra large glove hand. Jimping is also placed perfectly. With a nice thick beefy blade, you can crawl on down there and choke up as much as you deem fit. But quite comfortable, not aggressive, quite comfortable. You'll find most of your time will actually be spent probably in this beveled flipper area, which is just, let's show that actually. When you flip it and you pull that back, your finger tends to fall right in there. So it's just a way of not adding any extra stress to your finger when you flip it. But I find my thumb kind of falls in that area. But if you really want to choke up, you certainly can go up on the jimping and beyond with that flat blade top. Beautiful. All right. Well, that is the F3NS, or sorry, F3 Alutex in purple. Probably the loudest color that they've done. Orange is pretty loud as well. Pretty gold more than orange, but this is certainly new for Shirogorov in that they don't do a ton of purple. They did the F95 NL in a purple color, and those were, people loved that. I still have a bunch of those. Yeah, people loved that purple color. I did not expect it over, say, gold and black or blue and black kind of thing, but people loved it. Definitely more of a new school kind of train of thought, because not a ton of people are doing these loud colors. And I just think knife collectors now are younger than they've ever been, obviously, and they like loud knives. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just cool. And this is that cool new generational, pop of color that just kind of coming into the knife industry, which is always refreshing to see. So I love it. All right, there you go. That is the F3 Purple Alutex from Shirogorov with LMAX blade, and gorgeous knife. Love it. If you haven't, if you've listened to me this long, I apologize. Check me out: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, obviously YouTube. Throw a thumbs up. It helps the channel, helps the video. Visit the site, BladeZilla.ca. But more than anything, reach out, send me a message. Love chatting with you guys. So if I can't help you, I can definitely tell you who can. All right, guys, have yourself a fantastic week. And if you have any questions, hit me up, leave it below. Otherwise, until next time, we'll see you. Peace.